Boys and Grills, I'm back, and today I'm going to tell you why I don't think you should buy a Player Series guitar, even though that's exactly what I just did. Okay, that sounds really pretty because it's a Strat, and all Strats are going to sound pretty, and you're like, okay, well, why shouldn't I buy this guitar then? All right, longtime Fender fan here and longtime owner of many and various Fender guitars. In the past, I said this, I've been very much like an American guitar like snob. That was in the past, okay? Current 2024 Eric thinks that a lot of import guitars are great, including a lot of stuff made in Mexico. If you've seen my recent video on it was like a year ago, a video on a Charvel. Oh my gosh, so good. I have a made in China Gretsch that I think is absolutely amazing. Literally one of my favorite guitars. And then very recently, I went ahead and bought myself a Player Series Strat. Let's just get right to the punchline. I actually don't think that most people should buy a Player Series guitar. Like, if you're thinking about it, I would probably say no for the most part. And there's really one giant reason, which is the price. These guitars are listed at like $850, $800-ish something, kind of depending on which level of Player Series you get. I just think for that much money, you're definitely not getting that much more guitar than what you could get at Squier, and that is the biggest reason. Like, you really maybe don't need a entry-level Fender because you can just get a nice Squier for half the cost and walk away with a much better guitar. But I don't know about much better, but at least a comparable guitar, if not a better guitar from Squier, although it just doesn't say Fender on the headstock. Normally I save this for a later part in the video, but we're going to do things that I hate. I want to tell you about the stuff that was wrong with this guitar when I bought it, which was to say kind of everything. So for the record, I bought this one as a open box from Musician's Friend. The actual condition of the guitar itself is just about perfect. And so when I opened it up at first, I thought, okay, I can see automatically what it was. There's the classic Fender kind of cracks around the neck pocket. Doesn't bother me at all. On this guitar, they're basically invisible. You really have to look for it. Not a big deal. However, this guitar comes out of the box having never been messed with. Just nothing on it is right. So let's go down the list. Okay, for starters, the action, so the string height not set correctly at all, like wild, all over the place. The intonation, same thing. No, not even like a cursory, like, oh, let's just do a little, none of that. The nut is cut too low, okay? This may be like foreign language to some of you, but the nut, right, this piece right here, if that's cut too low, it's actually kind of a big deal because you're either going through a lot of work to raise it or you're just going to replace it outright. Tuning stability, very poor. This bridge, good grief. There is so much slop in the trem arm, it's crazy. Let me tune it and I'll show you exactly how bad this thing is. This is after I have corrected as much as I can on this guitar. So all the stuff I just listed, I've fixed most of that already, but here we go, check it out. Okay. Okay, of course it's not going to do it so extreme right now. That's a little out of tune, but I'm telling you, it's generally not good. So there's that. The general quality of the electronics, shaky at best. But I'm just saying the way that the knobs and the electronics and all that stuff feel, not great. And if this guitar costs $400 less than it does, I'd be like, wow, this is amazing. I should go and get one right now. My Gretsch I mentioned earlier, same thing. Not great electronics in it, but dude, buy one right now because the price is exactly right. On top of all of that, as you're going through the pickups here, I'm like, oh, bridge, good. In between, good. Middle, good. Something's kind of wrong with position 2, and then you hear that? The bridge pickup is almost dead. A little bit of something there, bad connection, I'm not sure, but that's something which you're going to have to open the guitar up in order to fix, which again, I think for most people, they either don't know how or won't want to. Could be warranty issues, all that kind of stuff, and I think that's an absolute tragedy, again, per the price of the guitar. So after having corrected and set up the guitar as much as I can for all these things, the fret buzz, wow. Let's see if I can capture this. You hear that extra harmonic? That's actually coming from that high E string. Just anytime you play it open, I'm pretty sure it's because that nut is just cut so low. Strats are known for having a lot of fret buzz, but this one, I think it's just been a lot harder for me to try and contain it. There's just this long list of things that needed to be adjusted on this guitar, which if you didn't know how to do those things yourself, if this guitar just came to you from the factory, you weren't, capable of that stuff, you pull it and play it out of the box, you're going to be like, this is junk. Why did I pay so much money for this guitar? And I don't think that should happen. That doesn't mean that I think that it's all bad. There's lots of things to like about this guitar. I did buy this with my own money, for crying out loud, so there has to be a good reason. So let me tell you. Good. I mean, it's still a Strat, it sounds good. The main thing about these specifically, the Fender Special Run guitars, is that the fretboard is ebony, which is just getting harder to find on guitars, especially kind of mid or lower priced ones. In my opinion, which I don't think is an opinion, I think it's just a plain old fact, fretboard material really doesn't affect the tone of a guitar at all. I think the videos that claim to show a big shift are bogus, but that's an opinion that I think is a fact. I'm not wrong. I don't know how to lie. I don't know. I can't lie to these people. I think what I think. Fretboard material is more an issue of preference, like how it feels, and a lot of it for me is how it looks. And I've never liked the way Pal Ferro looks. It just is odd. It's not a dark enough wood. Some of the grain and stuff in it is just sort of funky, and it just varies way too much. Ebony, on the other hand, is always a faithfully dark and beautiful fretboard, so I love that. Something else that's absolutely fantastic that I didn't expect, actually, was the finish on the neck. Fender, on some of their other different brands, have been doing this for a while, as well as providing a more satin finish. Okay, it's still a polyurethane on the finish of the neck, which is great, but it is just a really nice, smooth one. This actually feels reminiscent of the Charvel that I have. It's still got your classic shininess on the headstock, but everywhere else in the neck, satin, and it feels so good. It feels so much faster than I thought it would. This neck feels like a thin C. I think that is maybe what it's listed as, but it definitely feels almost like shredder territory, actually, if I'm honest. So not a giant neck. That's actually what I like. Of course, the color selection for these FSR ones is great. You've got Ferrari red, Ferrari yellow, and then this one, which missed opportunity here. Should have been called Lambo Greeny. Okay, I don't know. There's probably a reason why it couldn't be called that. So I'm officially naming my guitar, which I never do. I'm calling this one Lambo Greeny because, come on, the puns. I'm a dad now, so the pun game's getting stronger. This particular guitar came in at right about 7.5 pounds. Feels very light and fast in my hands. And so for that, I gotta love it, and I'm gonna keep this guitar. So why did I buy and keep this Player Series then, if I think so much of Squiers or just other guitars in general? I've been looking for a while to either put together or buy a guitar that I can use as a workhorse for the cover band that I'm in. We do, a lot of different styles, and it'd be nice to just have one guitar that can do a lot of that. So an HSS Strat, the humbucker and the two singles, is a great way to do that. As I had been looking around, I'd seen these Fender Special Runs with the different colors and thought, man, the green one, I gotta have it, and started looking around. Locally, I found one of the yellow ones, which is also a great color for maybe $600 or something like that is what he wanted for it. And then I found these on sale, new, at Musician's Friend, for $650. I thought, man, for a brand new one, that's a great price. Then I noticed the little box that says, hey, we have an open box one for $520. I thought, for that price, how can I say no? And then they were like, wait, there's more. Here's a coupon for some amount off. And so the total for the guitar came out to like $468. That's cheaper than any used Fender player anywhere, pretty much. So for that price, I actually was able to get the two things that I wanted the most, which is the neck and the body. And if you know me, you know I like to mod guitars, and to be honest, those are the only two things I'm going to keep. I'm actually going to sell off all the hardware, the plastics, electronics, everything as a kit on eBay. We'll see what I can get for it. I'll post about that. Then I'm going to take what are mostly other Fender parts and stick them back in this guitar and just make it more to my liking. And I'll do an update once I've overhauled the guitar, short video on that, and show you guys what the process was for me and what I ended up with. And I'm also going to do a video on my final cost. Just in case you're interested in modding, this might be a good place to start and see, all right, what can be done for what kind of money. So that's it. That's just one guy's opinion. Don't feel bad if you've got a Player Series guitar. There's plenty you can do to them to make them good guitars. That's what I'm going to do after all. And if you are totally like, you're a complete moron, this is the best value ever, tell me in the comments. Or if you're like, actually, this is great, you helped me save some money, I bought a Squier, whatever it is, I want to hear about it in the comments. I like talking with people about guitars and gear and stuff down there. And if you like gear and musical stuff and audio engineering stuff, you have found the right channel. So this is your chance. You finished the video, so you may as well subscribe. You're going to come back. Okay, I love you. Goodbye.